you know when I'm ready. I'm not ready. Never ready for this. I'm talking to a camera. And the person behind the camera. And she makes fun of me and calls me dirty names. She says my head glares in the light, so I have to wear a hat.
I kid because I love.
Vlog episode 2. New topics this week. We got a couple previews to go over. We have an addition to the watch list, in addition to the fact that WizKids claims they've been talking about the watch list. We got some things to talk about. A couple personal things, a couple awesome things, a couple preview things, a couple let's talk things. So let's go. Alright, let's start off with Shatterstar being added to the watch list. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple things about Shatterstar that I didn't even think of, because when you look at a power like his, you assume for a single base figure, and you don't think that cop cars carrying characters or GCPD motorcycles that are pilots are an option, and then somebody tells you about it, it's like, oh, that's legal. So yeah, Shatterstar's on the list. That's probably going to be something that's going to be specifically targeting single base characters that are less than Shatterstar. Because I don't think there's a single base vehicle. Call me wrong tell me if I'm wrong. So there's a single base vehicle. Yeah, but he's an autopilot vehicle. Yeah. There's Warlock, but he's an autopilot vehicle, which means he can carry things, but he can't be he can't have a pilot that's just gonna pop out of nowhere on the other side of the map. So that's that, and they claim to be working on things, and they said they're going to modify everything. I didn't want them to modify Brother Voodoo. I really didn't. Brother Voodoo's so cool. And he's a Prime. Will they take that into account? Nah. Anyway, moving on. We have changes that they made to the Avengers vs. X-Men format that have made me a little bit disturbed. As I said last week, I was okay with paying a little extra into the tournament if it helps the venue make a little bit of money off of the tournament or make their money back. Now they're telling us to buy more packs and make it a part constructed, part sealed event. And what's worse is that this isn't like Fear itself, where the set is specific to the storyline event. They're making us buy regular packs. We have this stuff, guys. We buy these packs. Otherwise, you wouldn't have these sets. Whoa. And me and Amber most certainly didn't purchase based on this. Although we will be purchasing now based on this, considering we're only getting a brick of Invincible Iron Man, maybe less. It's a thought. I don't know. But then that also screws up the entire construction of the sets, because now first of all, you can't find Wolverine and the X-Men anywhere. And even if you could find Wolverine and the X-Men anywhere, well, the X-Men side is getting screwed because all there is Wolverine and the X-Men, because I don't think Invincible Iron Man is going to have a plethora of X-Men-based characters. This is a problem for the faction-based tournament like this. They didn't think that through, did they? And I understand that the retailers were complaining that they weren't making their money based on the format of the tournament, but, retailers, it's on you to charge your players respectively. I mean, we are fine, for the most part, spending some money to get some stuff. I mean, we're walking out with figures. We were walking out with, from my understanding, about 3 pieces per month. So, 3 pieces per month, that's premium figures per month, plus the chance at the prize. If you have your full complement of people coming and you charge us $20, you are making back your monthly. If you charge us $10, we'll still be happy because it's an awesome storyline event and we're still getting awesome stuff. I think WizKids made a snap judgment on this, because I don't think the stores are going to be making as much on the individual pack sales unless there's a significant markup that we're not being told with the manufacturer's suggested retail price. So, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of supporting my venue, but I'm also a big fan of keeping to the theme of things and keeping to the idea of things. This storyline event made sense when it was 100% constructed, because Avengers didn't have any kind of place in the recent sets, so we don't want to be sealed. And I mean, the only Invincible Iron Man is not going to be an Avenger set. It's going to be an Iron Man and Alpha Flight set. So where do Avengers come in on that? There's going to be a lot of Stark Industries, maybe 3 or 4 characters that are Avengers, but
Superman.
And then after that, we have Legion of Superheroes with Superman in February, which is like I believe the third month of this. April. It's not until April that we see more X-Men stuff. So, like, a sealed event for this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. A sealed constructed event doesn't make any sense for this. Like, you're taking an element out that just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, maybe something's being said that I'm not understanding, but, like, I was really looking forward to constructed. I really was. Because once a month sealed plus... I mean, release sealeds, and it's all been sealed lately. We kind of like to play with our toys. We bought these toys to play with. I mean, come on. So, that's my little rant about that. I think WizKids made the judgment based on complaints, but unfounded complaints, if you ask me. Venues, it's on you to charge your players. It's not on WizKids to say, well, you're going to have to make it sealed now. I mean, come on, guys. Let's try to think, right? Moving on, Mage Knight. I don't know how much I talked about this last week, but me and Amber are really looking forward to it. There's some really cool figures, some really cool team abilities. One of which contradicts itself in the sense of a theme team, but because we get the Mist Order, I believe. I don't know. I can't remember their exact name, and I don't have it. I was silly and didn't bring my laptop or my tablet over here. So I don't have quick information feed, and I don't plan this out as much as I really should be. That said, some of the figures are looking really cool in this into Heroclix. I'm really looking forward to how they're doing the fact that we're getting 2 bases per figure. So we're going to have a Mage Knight base, we're going to have a Heroclix base, and we're going to be able to play it with either or. I'm really looking forward to that. I do accept that it's going to cost a little bit more money. That said, Mage Knight is a WizKids game. Which means, I know I talked about this, I'm pretty sure I talked about this last week, but by supporting this game, you are supporting WizKids. And, you know, if some horrible accident happens and we lose the DC Marvel licenses, well, you either really liked the game or all you were here for was the comic book characters. And I know who some of you guys are. So we will miss you, but let's, you know, I want to support WizKids in some way, and I do like the thematic idea or the theme of Mage Knight in that fantasy realm that kind of works alongside the Lord of the Rings, follows the theme of Lord of the Rings. And I'm hoping to hear that WizKids is announcing a tournament format involving Lord of the Rings and Mage Knight, because I do maybe next week want to talk about a change that they need to make soon to the format of tournament, because otherwise I don't know how much more of the off-color stuff I'm going to keep buying, and I really do like some of the off-comic stuff, off-color. So, but, you know, that said, I know me and Amber are planning some games with the Mage Knight stuff. We are probably going to play a Heroclix game or 2 with them, and we're also probably going to play a Mage Knight game or 2 with them. So, we'll see where that goes, and keep you up to date on that. We'll probably give you warnings on that, or probably run it on a different day if we so feel like it. Incidentally, this week we had a little bit of an issue on the weekend with regards to our game that we filmed. So instead of a game, you're going to get a blooper reel.
Amber got really, really drunk, and it didn't go well.
I didn't want to say it. So we'll give you guys a quick blooper reel. It was a rematch of the Brotherhood and X-Men, and now we have to do a third game of it, because I had a way more thematic Brotherhood team, because my stuff from Troll and Toad came in, and I had Blob and Pyro and Mystique on my team. Blob, Pyro, Mystique, Magneto, Toad, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch. It was really, really good, and I still won. So everybody says your team's not very thematic, that's why you won. Come on now. Moving along. Next thing I want to talk about, I think I want to talk about a little bit of a life lesson with regards to this game. And people like to say, in a sense of some form of disparity, that one side is more powerful than the other in the comic book side of things, that being Marvel is more powerful than DC, and or some form of vice versa. Now, this has nothing to do with WizKids and some kind of favoritism of their comic books. What this has everything to do with is a significant disparity in who's giving out the licenses. If you've noticed the last couple years, Marvel or DC has been giving out Superman, Batman. I mean, I'm almost positive we were lucky to get a Teen Titans set. I almost feel like WizKids begged for that. Licensing is not an easy thing to have to deal with. And WizKids has to, jump through hoops in order to keep these licensees happy. If they want to say we want to use your DC licenses for a game, and Warner Bros says, cool, we got a Superman movie out. Make sure you got Superman stuff going out. They're gonna have to jump, through that hoop. From the looks of it, DC's not being very forthcoming with the number of things that they're willing to release. I mean, we also sometimes see that thing of 1 year is Marvel, 1 year is DC. But when, we had Amazing Spider-Man and Wolverine and the X-Men this year. And we've also had Batman and Teen Titans with a couple things, like another Batman theme set in the middle of that. But we also had, Marvel movies all over the place. We have Thor coming out later this month. And it's generally pretty equal, but what's forthcoming from Batman, or from DC, is Batman and Superman. And what's forthcoming from Marvel is... go. I mean, some of it does match up with movies, let's not lie. But for the most part, Marvel they release Marvel movie-based sets to avoid the whole kerfuffle of keeping things tied in. Whereas Warner Brothers seems to be giving out the movie licenses and then the movie characters. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just deal with it. I don't call out. But, I mean, yeah, when there's more Marvel figures, there's more chance of more strength. It's going to happen. Something we're going to have to just tolerate. Because it's no fault of WizKids. It's, the time disparity based on the rules that they create, based on the balance that they create as it goes. Game balance changes perpetually, as I said last week, and, when more characters of a certain set come out, then, things happen. Okay. This one Amber wanted me to talk about. I generally don't get into people's business about trades. The way you trade is the way you trade. The way you accept the way you trade is whatever. But, it's like, both sides have valid reasonings, but one side seems a little sillier than the other. And that's the side of value over rarity. I believe in the idea of a common for a common, uncommon for uncommon, rare for rare, super rare, and, multiple commons for rares, stacks of commons for super rares, whatever. But when I say stacks, I'm talking like 10, 20 for a super rare. Excuse me. When you trade figures for money value, that's... How do I put this? The secondary market is made specifically by the people who are willing to pay the value. A figure is not worth $50. Some psycho was willing to pay $50 for that figure. And he did it solely because some guy was charging $50 for it. That doesn't mean it's worth $50. That means people are willing to pay $50 for it. It's a strange thing. It's impossible to control it. But when it comes down to it, too, is, people are like, oh, you're expecting me to do this and this and this for that. They come off as jerks when they think I'm undertrading them. It's like, no, I'm trading rarity for rarity. I don't care what your money value is. It's not worth that much to me, so I'm not going to give you the time of day. Both sides are right in their own unique way. But, you find you get more friends when you ignore that. It's easier to trade with people when you ignore that too. We have a fellow that we trade with on a regular basis. I think we've made like 3 or 4 strong deals with him, but both sides have been at what money grubbers would be, the losing end of the deal. But what goes around comes around. Example, the first time I traded with this guy, I traded an old, the first zombie Spider-Man, the one that was a Chase and Supernova. I traded that for Hannibal King. I really wanted Hannibal King. I was done with the zombie Spider-Man. He got a huge deal because some people think that's still worth money. It was worth nothing to me. So I got the prime figure that I wanted out of it, and he got a Spider-Man. The next time we traded with him, we got a Phoenix from him.
Overage, actually.
We got Wolverage for a stack of our old LE prize and judge prizes that when we used to judge and play Heroclix a lot when it was first. This is like back in REV days. There was no cards related to these figures at all. we traded him a stack of those for a Wolverage. And again, he got like 23 of these figures for a Wolverage, and we didn't care because we didn't know they existed. We found them in our closet by accident. The next time we dealt with him, we got a Phoenix from him for a Big Bertha, two of the Pacific Rim figures, and a Hawkeye if we pull one later in Fear Itself. So, and then we returned the favor on that deal with the Chase Cyclops for a Jubilee and a super rare from Fear Itself to be named later. I find if you give and take both ways, it's very easy to, trade with people like that on another time, because after the fact that you're going to get a good trade. Now, I can't say this is how it should work on the internet. The internet trading is, how do I put this? It's akin to trading on the black market. You're hoping that what you send gives you what you asked for. And I understand the disparity in things where, you want to be based on a money value, because effectively the second it hits the mailbox, people just look at that and go, there's money that could be in my hands if I traded that for money. I understand in that level. But when I watch my buddies in the store doing it, it's not my thing. So, wow, I'm going on a lot of strange rants this week. Why did you write my script to be so ranty?
You asked for launch points. I gave you launch points. You didn't have to use them.
All right. This next thing is a neat thing we've been doing with our friends. And what it is, and I'd only suggest it if you feel yourself and the guys that you play regularly are not mixing it up enough. If you see a guy who's always coming with the same figures and the same team bases and the same, you feel like he's playing a little harder than necessary, or, he's playing one thing because specifically he wants to win every time. I find when you play with your buddies, I personally can't do it. I don't play to, like I'm winning a tournament, because unless we know we got a tournament coming up next week and we got to play hard, unless, we're play testing teams or whatever, I won't play like that. Or I'll try something different and find out that it's actually very mean and broken once it's actually on the board. That happens too sometimes. For instance, the first time I tried the Heroes for Hire team ability, I didn't use a single resource on any figure on my team. I just tried the ATA, and holy moly, is that good. So, yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. Now, what I want to say about it is there's something we do once a month with our guys, or we try to do once a month whenever we can all get together. Our buddies have all into different cities right now, and it's really hard to get us all in one place. But what we do is we created something called a Blender League. And what the Blender League is, you can create your own point value for it, but when you and your buddies all get together, every week you try to set up every player has to bring a different keyword or theme to their team. For example, and in addition, as an honest fact, each player has to go look at the way they play and say, you know what, I play these two keywords a lot. I am not going to play these two keywords for the Blender League. In our group, for example, I chose Mystical and Soldier because I know those are two that I use really well. Those are both very strong and work well together. And, it's time for me to stop leaning on them if I want to go for the cheap win. So I went for other things. A couple other buddies have been using other things. There's things like Justice League and Batman Family and X-Men that people have taken upon themselves to ban themselves from. And then from there, every week you calculate the points that each player has taken, and you come up with a prize for the end of it. It's just a neat way to mix it up. It's something I came up with, and has actually been working. So we've all been planning our Blender League teams. What's going to be on my next keyword? What's my next idea? What kind of things can I do that can really mess with the Blender League? Or, it's got everybody thinking about a new way to play, and that is something that's very important. There it is. But yeah, so the Blender League is it's a neat, fun thing we do. It's really changed the way my buddies play. not my players, they're my buddies. I don't judge, so I don't have a group of guys that's my guys. So, but it's changed the way they played. A lot of them are getting really good at coming up with new ideas. Some of them are just coming up with, like, some of the guys do vary it up a lot, so I'm seeing a lot of repeats from some of the guys, but for the most part, everybody's trying something new, and it's really neat to see what everybody's doing. Going on from that, a neat little thing I've come up with, a neat little monstrosity, we're going to call it from the lab, this format, and it's, what I'll do is sometimes I come up with weird ideas for teams that accidentally work. And we'll discuss them, and I'll talk to, I talk to you guys, and you tell me what other figures I'm missing in the sense of how to use this. So the team that I created is what I call Figure Factory. What it is it's a lineup of figures who start on the board, and then more characters come on the board courtesy of those figures. So a good example of Figure Factory character would be Phantom X, or the Doctor Strange from the main set of Galactic Guardians. They create figures and then let them do things through those figures. And then there's the newest addition to my library for the Figure Factory would be the Penguin from Batman 66, the TV show Batman, where he creates the dehydrated men. And if you put him in water, he creates 2 dehydrated men. So that's a neat thing. And what I like about this team is I went toe-to-toe in a tournament with a team base. I went toe-to-toe with Heroes for Hire as a team. I'm going as a disclaimer here. This is a team that is not going to break the meta game of the 300 points because this was a 600-point tournament. But it's also an idea that might find a way to make it into the 300 points if you guys can think of a way to do it. That's kind of going to be my challenge to you. Anyway, going on. My team itself that I did play had Phantom X, it had Doctor Strange, it had Multiple Man, because if you hit him, he creates figures, which is brilliant. Excuse me. Squirrel Girl, this was Golden Age, I might note, and Alyosha Craven. Now, an accidental disparity in there, or accidental cohesion in there, was that Alyosha can move animals, and Squirrel Girl's an animal, and the lion Gudiakin, I don't never know how to say it properly. But the lion moves as well for free. So that there is its own high movement team. So what I would do is I'd move out Alyosha, then move Squirrel Girl, pop a squirrel out, then Phantom X would move, pop out an Eva, Doctor Strange would pop out an Astral Doctor Strange, second turn pop out an Astral Doctor Strange, and the team creates characters. And I was looking at it, and I was saying there's something in that strategy that can stop Alpha Strikes. Because if you have a team surrounded by another team that all of a sudden came out of nowhere and is worth no points and you're willing to let die, that's pretty amazing. And I'll challenge you, the viewers, to tell me, or to come up with a Figure Factory team that falls under the 300-point Modern Age, falls under 300-point Golden Age, and 600 points Golden Age as well. Just, build me a team of each, and no prizes this week. We can't really offer up prizes. We broke.
We'll figure something out.
Oof. But, we'll make sure we mention you next week in this, and we'll talk about your team, and we'll even give you the video try. Our favorite of the 3 teams will be the one that I play against Amber in one of our games on the video, probably that week. So we'll try that out, I think. It's a good theme. Amber's nodding at me. Yeah, that's great. Let somebody else build your teams now, jerk. That's all we have for this week. Next week we're gonna talk. We're gonna give you a quick tease as to something we are slowly building our way into, including in our videos. As well, we're going to see what else is previewed. We're going to talk about some more previews. And we might have some Thor the Dark World to talk about. I haven't decided as to whether or not I want some. I realize there's far fewer Thor figures in that set than I had planned, so we might get some now. Whiz kids. Oh, why must you take it all? Why must you take all my money? Till then, guys. See you next time.